What's up everyone, Alex here. It's time to have an extended look at some Switch games running on the Odin 2 with the Yuzu emulator. I am using the newest build from GitHub at the time of this video, which is Android 146, and is using the newly added CPU-backed native code execution, which is supposed to give even better performance to our games. I'll briefly show the settings I have used, but the main points to take away are that we aren't in dock mode and we are using NCE. I am also using the latest turnip driver in the GPU driver manager. We are also using a script that helps with a RAM issue on the base model of the Odin 2. I am using the 8GB RAM base model, and there isn't an update from AYN yet to fix the performance problems people encountered. So in the meantime, we have these scripts which seem to be doing the job. I am using the 4GB swap script, and it takes a while to complete, so give it time. Once you have done this, every time you reboot your Odin 2, you'll need to use the enable swap script to turn it back on, otherwise it won't be active. I also want to take this opportunity to mention I had some analog stick problems with some games on Switch, with the characters walking instead of running. This is an easy fix. If this happens to you, just go to the Odin settings and go down to joystick calibration and then gamepad test. Long press either of the sticks and you can adjust their sensitivity higher so your inputs will now reach the full range of motion. I've tested most of the games you see here, but I won't be demonstrating them all. Actually, I chose to showcase some of the bigger and more intense titles as I think it makes a more interesting video. We've seen a lot of indie titles and smaller scoped games running well, but remember to support the games you love even if it's on sale. It does do a lot for their business and future developments. I'll mention some of the games I tried which absolutely did not run. Bayonetta 3 ran, but is very slow, so that's one that's going to need more updates to Yuzu. Death's Door, Metroid Prime Remake, and Triangle Strategy are playable, but the game screen is black. Alternatively, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is playable, but the game screen is white, at least in later levels. The Atelier Rise games, Live a Live and Octopath Traveler 2, Pikmin 4 and Red Dead Redemption won't boot into game. So, let's get on with the showcase. I already tested Metroid Dread and Super Mario Odyssey in my review, so if you want to see those, then go check that out. I test a bit more Mario Kart because I got the DLC tracks working, so I thought that would be fun to show off. And with that out of the way, let's get on with the showcase. We're basically going to go alphabetical on this, starting off with Advance Wars 1 and 2. These are terrific games and they took a long time to come to the Switch, and this game performs really well. Just wanted to show here, when you're choosing the missions, for some reason the frame rate says it's good, but it's quite choppy here, the animations and selecting things. It feels slow, but the FPS is fine. But once you get into game and start attacking units, the cutscenes are all smooth and you can fast forward and it runs as you expected it to. This one runs really well.
Star Army is launching a counterattack. Oh!
Bayonetta 2 is a fantastic character action game, and on Yuzu, on the Odin 2, honestly, I'm really damn surprised how well this runs. I mean, there's some dips here and there, but like some of them are pretty negligible. You see all this stuff going on in the background and the action is really smooth. And for a game like this, it's absolutely important that you have a consistent frame rate, especially a high one, because your inputs matter and you want to get all your moves pulled off correctly. The game looks gorgeous, and I was just happy to just play this one. I really didn't think much about this being playing on an emulator. It was a really good experience. Just a side note at the end here, I have tried to install the latest updates to each of these games just to make sure that they're running as good as they should. And it's important in this case, Dark Souls Remastered, this is the 1.0.3 update. And not only that, but I have added a mod to this game. So when you try to play this game normally, like the base version, you have all these like lighting issues and the game's quite dark. So this, I'll leave a link to this in the description, and you'll need to put this on your internal storage and then manually move it over to this folder. So I'm going over to the game serial here for this game, and inside I've placed the folder, this light texture thing. So I'm just showing you the folders in the patch here. If you place it exactly like this, the mod will work automatically. And I'm blown away, really. I just played this game constantly. It was just 30 frames the entire time. I didn't see a dip, I didn't see any glitches or problems. It just ran flawlessly, and I just found myself playing it more and more. I mean, it actually took me a little while to do this video, and one night I was just testing some of these games, like lying in bed, and I was just playing this for like an hour or so. I just was, because I'm a big Dark Souls fan. I've always been a huge Dark Souls fan, and if any of you know who I am, I have another YouTube channel where I do music and remixes, and I got fairly well known for doing remixes of the Dark Souls games, and basically From Software, because I'm a big fan of those of that studio. And I went on to do lots of remixes. I ended up doing music for Vati Vidya. I ended up getting work because of that, and I even got to work with the composer of Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, which is Yuka Kitamura. We wrote an album together, so I have a lot of fond memories of this game. So jumping back into Dark Souls, this was a huge comfort game for me. I mean, I'll be honest with you, this is like, what, over 10 years ago now. And I remember that you know, there was like a bleak time in my life where, you know, I was a bit like depressed and stuff. But this game just like, it just gave me so much, and I got a lot out of it. And it's just, it's really surprising what a game can do to your life and where you're going in the future. And you know, I've gone on a huge tangent now, but look at this. It's running perfectly. And you know, a game like this, especially in Dark Souls 1, where your inputs can get buffered, you know, you might tap roll twice and it'll roll twice and stuff. If you were to have FPS issues, then yeah, that would suck. But this was a joy to play. And I tested this game in my review, but I thought because I was able to get like the DLC tracks running, this is one of the, I believe, harder to run levels. You'll see some frame dips here and there. So I believe that like some of this game is going to have problems, but a lot of it is exceptionally playable, especially the next track you see, which is like a simpler level. But when this game runs really well, again, it's just a very seamless experience. It's just it's a shame levels like this do have their dips, and you do feel it, because you'll see me like sort of crash here and there and not turn properly. Fingers crossed some updates in the future will bring this to just be fully playable at full speed. Also, these tracks are at 200cc, and if you ever played 200cc, you know that you got a brake. I think it's so weird in the options. They like when you look at the controls, it doesn't even tell you the game has a brake button, but it does, and you need it in 200cc. But yeah, I'm on a. You can see a dip right there, and I was just like, not sure what to do. Anyway, lots of fun to play. Mario Kart, so good. No! New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. This one runs fantastically. If you're a fan of these games, I didn't have any problems. I tested more than level 1 here, but I thought level 2 was kind of boring to show, and you can kind of see the camera. These darker levels, I try not to show them off too much because I find like the screen reflection isn't really that good to watch. But yeah, this ran really well. Oh, that's weird. Oh, whatever.
Oh yeah, Mario time!
Ori and the Will of the Wisps. This is an absolutely beautiful game with a fantastic soundtrack by Gareth Coker. This had some problems. Actually, when you start this game, it seems like it's going to run flawlessly, but once you start getting into these sections, you see the frame rate dip, and yeah, my heart sank a little because I thought being able to play something like this would have been fantastic. There are areas where it runs really well, and I'm not expecting it to, and then there's areas where it doesn't run well, and I'm like, but there's not actually much going on, so maybe it's like a particle effects thing. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend playing this on Yuzu, but you do have the option to play this on Game Pass. I'm pretty sure it's still on there. You can get the Game Pass app and yeah, subscribe, and then you get to play games like this. But, you know, there's a difference between streaming a game and having it physically or digitally on by yourself, you know, in case you don't have an internet connection. So here's hoping future updates to Yuzu get this game running even better. But yeah, it's got some problems. Sonic Superstars, this is one of the newest Sonic games. I got a few levels into this, and so actually I'm using like a save file I'm using from PC Yuzu. So I'll just reiterate again that if you want to use Yuzu saves, I found what worked for me is that you need to transfer the PC saves over to your internal storage first, and then transfer them over to the Yuzu save folder where all your other saves are. And with this game, no dips at all. I wanted to find one of these secret levels as well because it's like a different vibe. There's more things going on. No slowdowns here either. I kind of love that when they do these like quirky little bonus games in the Sonic games. I really like Sonic Mania's running levels. This is pretty fun, but I haven't played a whole lot of this. But it seems to be a pretty cool Sonic game. But yeah, it's if you like it, definitely go buy it. Now, this one really shocked me. So, Super Mario 3D World. And this is Bowser's Fury. And Bowser's Fury is set to 30 frames per second, which is a bit odd for a Super Mario game, but it is what it is. But playing this didn't dip at all. It was 30 frames solid. I was pretty shocked and blown away, especially going up these lighthouses and just checking out like the vista of what's around. So I didn't get too far into this. Maybe it's the case that when you unlock more of the world, maybe it'll slow down then, I don't know. But I had zero problems, and yeah, it was crazy. I was actually enjoying myself a lot. So yeah, I think this one works. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. This is a game that seems to be running better now with NCE. I remember seeing some earlier footage of people who got their Odins like a month ago, and it was running decently with some dips here and there, but everything I've played of it's pretty much so far has been pretty solid, and that's exciting. But yeah, this game is pretty cool, so if you like it, definitely go buy it. I bet there's probably some... Nah, Nintendo never do sales, do they? They hardly ever do. Not their first party games, but I think this one is worth it. I also decided to show off some footage for Super Mario RPG. I wasn't going to at first because it's a pretty new game, but I have some progress in this, and I just wanted to show on the Odin 2 that even little areas like this, the performance is pretty... It's not great. It just keeps jumping around, even though the frame rate seems pretty solid. Like it's just skipping. That's the right word. Like Mario's just kind of skipping around. Kind of surprising, to be honest. I mean, I know this is a new game, but I would have thought that the quality of the game would be quite easy to emulate compared to the other games we've already looked at. Hoping some updates in the future will make this one more playable, but this is a classic, and if you've already played the SNES game, you already know it's great. So definitely, you know, support Nintendo with wanting to make more games like this. You'll never know what they do in the future. They might remake some other beloved games. So yeah, check it out. And Smash Brothers. So this, I installed the latest update and all the DLC. So, and I took a save file off the internet to get all the characters and levels. I thought I'd pick a level like Woohoo Island because I know you're flying around. There's lots of things going on. I get 4 characters on. Maybe I should have done 8 characters actually, just to like push things. And this is another pretty surprising one because there's like lots of animations, action, tons of stuff in the background. But, I mean, you know, I was focusing on playing, and I mean, not playing very well, to be honest. I'm not fantastic at Smash. I've never really tried to get into it, but I enjoy it with other people. I didn't notice any dips, really. It was so smooth, and it's so cool to play something like this on the Odin, especially if you can get a dock and are able to do Bluetooth controllers and set it up for more than one player. I haven't actually tried it with the Odin, but if I could, I'd love to see what it's like. Now we're into what I'll call the Zelda block. I just want to show with Link's Awakening here that I'm using a mod that gets rid of the blur. I remember when I played this on the Switch, I absolutely hated the blur and I couldn't understand why they even chose to do this and not even give the option to remove it. So very happy that modders have done this. I'll leave a link to the description and you can see where I've placed it. So like I said, move the file to your internal storage and then move it to the correct folder in Yuzu. So here with NCE, unfortunately this weird texture thing happens, or lighting, one of the two, maybe lighting. I'm not sure why this is the only game I've seen do this with NCE, but you can see on the flip side that the performance is actually really solid. It's like pretty much consistently 60 frames. So if they can fix this, that would be great. And here I am now playing again, but I've turned NCE off and left it to what it usually was with Yuzu. And there is no lighting problem now, lighting, texture, whatever, but the performance isn't as consistent. Like, it's still sort of playable, but it's not like sticking to 60, so it keeps dipping here and there, which is a shame. So here's hoping that some updates to Yuzu in the future will fix that problem, because with NCE on, this game was absolutely running 100%. And Skyward Sword, okay, I remember that when I first opened this, I was like, I bet this is going to have some problems, but nah, this is solid 60 frames. I didn't encounter anything. And I wanted to test this more, but it would have taken me a while. So I just kind of like run around Skyloft. It looks absolutely beautiful, and I was just so surprised that it didn't drop any frames. So it's really great to have this option because, you know, obviously trying to emulate this on Dolphin, you have to map all the Wii controls to the controller, and some of the things later on are quite difficult to do. Whereas now the Switch HD, you know, it's already mapped to Switch controls. So now we have the option to play this on a handheld and, well, obviously the Switch, but no, it's really cool to see it this way. And finally, Tears of the Kingdom. So with this footage, I decided to not cut much of it. There was a little bit I cut later on because I was getting hit for a lot of my health, and I just had to eat loads of food, and I was like, yeah, no need to watch that. So there's a lot of footage here, and I wanted to keep it mostly uncut so that you can see just everything Link does, from just like jumping off an island to going to a town basically, and just experiencing that trip and seeing what the frame rate is like and what happens. There's a part later on actually where it gets all glitchy and like bit crushy, like the audio gets funny, and I'm not really sure what happened there, but it evened out. And yeah, I'm actually really surprised this runs as well as it does. I remember when I put an order in for the base model, I think it was a kind of consensus that if you got the 8GB model, you probably couldn't play something like Tears of the Kingdom because the amount of RAM you use. Now, I didn't check this in the floating icon, but the RAM is the memory is about 75%, so it's not even using all of the memory, so that is surprising to me. So yeah, that leaves me with like the question, like, will this be playable someday on Yuzu on an 8GB base model of the Odin 2? Possibly. It seems like the power's there. I think the most that it's drawing from is actually the CPU, so maybe updates in the future could make it less intensive on the CPU and it would run a lot better. Yeah, so I'm going to let this play out. Check it out. What's happening? So that was Nintendo Switch emulation using Yuzu on the Odin 2. Pretty incredible, actually. There was lots of surprises, and I was just so happy to be able to like play some of those games as well as they do. Dark Souls, Smash Brothers, big surprises. I guess Skyward Sword. And then more updates are going to come. Really looking forward to see what's going to happen with this emulator. So if you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.